Hong Kong police have arrested 19 protesters after a peaceful demonstration against an extradition bill turned violent. Officers say they found several demonstrators carrying scissors and makeshift weapons. Police and protesters suffered injuries in violent clashes as mobs of demonstrators tried to storm into the Legislative Council building shortly after midnight. Police in riot gear used batons and pepper spray to try to disperse the crowds. More than 350 people were detained and questioned after officers brought the standoff to an end. Now, organizers say that the march, which started yesterday afternoon, saw a record 1.3 million people take to the streets of Hong Kong. But the government is not backing down on the extradition bill, which would allow suspects to be sent to mainland China to face trial. Chief Executive Carrie Lam insists the legislation is needed to prevent the city from becoming a haven for fugitives. However, she's promised revisions to allay protesters' concerns about the bill. In response to yesterday's large-scale protests, China says it will continue to back the passage of the bill.
中央政府将继续坚定支持香港特区政府推进修订两个条例的工作。第二，我们坚决反对任何外部势力干预香港特区立法事务的错误言行。
The second reading of the proposed law will go ahead at LegCo on Wednesday. But the fight is not over yet because Democratic lawmakers and opponents of the bill, now they plan to call for another round of protests. Roland Lim tells us more.
A million-strong protest march marred by violence overnight. Now Hong Kong is in a political quandary. It has to recognize the demands of the hundreds of thousands that took to the streets, yet at the same time it is still going ahead with the proposed controversial extradition bill. The violent clashes broke out after midnight Sunday, following a largely peaceful march from Causeway Bay to government headquarters in Tamar. 3 policemen were hospitalized, 1 journalist injured. 7 men were arrested at the scene on various charges from assault on a police officer to criminal damage. Chief Executive Carrie Lam conceded that a very large number of people had taken part on Sunday's largely peaceful protests. But she added there was support for the bill as well, with more than 300 groups writing in. Hong Kong's biggest political party, the DAB, welcomed the new assurances given by Mrs. Lam on Monday in hopes of appeasing the opposition. Mrs. Lam promised more safeguards that are binding, especially to protect the rights of suspects, and to make regular reports to the legislature on extradition requests.
This bill is not about mainland alone. This bill is not initiated by the Central People's Government. I have not received any instruction or mandate from Beijing to do this bill. We were doing it, and we are still doing it, out of our clear conscience and our commitment to Hong Kong. We want Hong Kong to fare well.
The Civil Human Rights Front, which organized the protest rally on Sunday, has promised to pile on the pressure, saying they will be organizing another rally around the Legislative Council building when the bill is debated by lawmakers.
Specifically making a call on anyone to just ignore his or her job. All we're saying is that we wish Hong Kong people would do whatever they think appropriate.
The opposition camp won't be calling for a general strike action. But as of Monday afternoon, more than 50 companies have announced online they will go on strike. And these include retail outlets, bookshops, and companies in the engineering and IT sector. Labour Party's Fernando Cheung is also discussing with the Social Workers General Union over the possibility of mobilizing social workers on the day as well. Police Chief Stephen Low says that the police force will be ready for any contingencies when the bill is tabled at the Legislative Council on Wednesday. He called for protesters to behave in a calm and orderly fashion and not to break the law when it comes to making their demands heard. Roland Lim, CNA, Hong Kong.